Hey, it's Junkman from VintageRock.com. We're here at NAMM 2017, and I am honored. Next to me, I have one of my favorite drummers of all time, and a really cool guy. This is Kenny Aronoff. How you doing, man?
Good, man. I like your haircut.
I like your haircut too.
Yeah, right.
Mom always liked me better.
We're the Ball Bandito brothers or something.
Yeah. Dude, amazing. We had talked about this before, and it finally came out. Sex, Drums, and Rock and Roll. Yeah. Kenny has his new book out, and dude, I want to talk to you all about this and find out some information. Now, so many things. I read just a little bit of it. A friend of mine handed me a copy of it, and I read a little bit about just some of the background and some of the how many records and bands that you've played with. Basically, you're the guy. You're like the Village Bike. Everybody's had a ride, But I mean, it's like you've got so much quality material out. Tell us just a little something about this book, for instance. If you had to sum it up.
Okay, the book is basically about a kid who saw the Beatles on TV, the Ed Sullivan Show, which 72 million Americans saw. I mean, there was nothing for us to watch on TV when we were little kids, so we were always playing outside. My mom yelled for us to come into the family room. I thought I was in trouble. And the Beatles were on TV, and so I looked at it and I just went, oh my God, I got to do this. I mean, I said, Mom, I want to be in the Beatles, call them up. And I was 11. I thought, and then she didn't say anything, and I saw the drum set, I saw Ringo, and it's just the energy. I was drawn to it, and I went, I want a drum set, Mom. No, she didn't answer to that either. Finally, I said, I want to be in a rock band. I want girls going crazy for me. I want to make records and blah, blah, blah. No answer, so she didn't call the Beatles, so I started a band the next week called the Alley Cats. All I could afford was a snare drum and a cymbal. I stood up and played. And the miracle is that, or the amazing thing is 50 years later, I got to play with the remaining Beatles, Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr, for a CBS special that honored the Beatles for that Ed Sullivan Show. 50 years later.
And they picked of all the drummers, they picked you.
Yeah, and the thing is that, so why did that happen? And that's what the book is about. The book obviously talks about heavy 7 years of classical training that led me to 1 year at University of Massachusetts School of Music, 4 years at the #1 school of music in the country, Indiana University School of Music, 1 year at the Aspen School of Music run by Juilliard, one summer with the Boston Symphony Orchestra, where I played with Leonard Bernstein, Aaron Copland, greatest conductors in the world. And I did the American Dream, which was I went to school, studied music, and got a job in the field that I went to studied in. I got into the Jerusalem Symphony Orchestra and the Quito, Ecuador Symphony Orchestra. And as soon as I got those gigs, I said, no, I want to be in the Beatles. So I spent the next 4 years starting all, working my butt off, basically starting over again. And eventually I landed my Beatles, which was the John Mellencamp band. We we worked from 11 to 5 every day, 7 to 11 every night, 5 days a week. And we busted our ass like a job and worked our way out of clubs into arenas. And then after 8 years, John took some time off, or he said he was going to take time off. And I was in shock, and I had to figure out a new plan, and I came to LA, and I eventually became one of the top session guys, and I've been on over 300 million records sold.
Wow. Not
including downloads.
Yeah.
That's 300 million, that's a lot. Yeah. And
with artists such as?
Oh my God, well, okay, let me think. The Rolling Stones, Meatloaf, The Highwaymen, which is Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, Waylon Jennings, Santana, Rod Stewart, Tony Iommi from Sabbath, the Smashing Pumpkins, the girls, Avril Lavigne, Alanis Morissette, Michelle Branch, the more people like Bob Seger, Bob Dylan, Iggy Pop, John Mellencamp, B.B. King. I played live with like Ray Charles, Sting, Bruce Springsteen, Dave Grohl, Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars, but then I recorded. It just goes on and on and on.
So have you ran out of buckets or what, dude? I mean, I've had everybody on the bucket list.
I can't think of the only guy. I wish I had played with Jimi Hendrix, and I would love to play with the Who, but I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, and it's still going now. I have my own studio because, you know, to stay relevant with the budgets, you know, falling apart. Yeah. I have my own studio, so I record. I mean, I'm up to about 40 artists this year already, but these are like unsigned artists. But that's just the way it's going right now. I'm just grateful to be continuing to do what I started when I was 11 years old. Right. That's a difficult thing to do.
Yeah. Well, you know? I'm hip to that, dude, because I'm
going to be in Mumbai, India. This is I'll give you an example. Mumbai, India with Billy Gibbons, Eric Gales on February 12th. But on February 13th, I'll be in San Antonio, Texas with John Fogerty. Yeah. And I'm pulling it off. Yeah. I leave the stage at midnight from Mumbai, take off at 4 in the morning, go to Dubai to Houston, private jet picks me up, flies me to San Antonio. A guy's waiting for me, brings me to the festival. Rock.
Just to get here, you said the same thing. You just flew in from Germany yesterday.
Yeah. I literally, I got off the stage, had like 5 hours, maybe. I got to my room at midnight. 4 in the morning, I'm in a car. I'm on a plane from Berlin to Amsterdam at 6 a.m. And then Amsterdam to here, I slept. I had a bed in a business class, and I slept 7 hours. Got here, I shaved on the plane.
There you are.
Got all freshened up, came here and started doing interviews all day long.
Now, you're going back, and this is a prime example of some of the things that just impresses me the most about you. Now, all these studio musicians, not a lot of those guys are on the road as much, you know? You are playing live just as much as, you know, even more so than you're recording, like, constantly. So a lot of those guys, you know, they do sessions during the day, and then they're done. You know, they don't go out and they play. You are, like, right back at it again. So it's just, how do you find that energy?
Well, I was born with a lot of energy. That's the great thing. But I also take care of myself. And I have, in my book, from this book, I came up with 7 ways to be successful in life and in your career. And one of the 7 ways is a healthy life is a wealthy life. And I talk about 8 ways to be, you know, healthy mentally, physically, emotionally. And a lot of it's diet, exercise, and that helps me be the best I can be. Now, when you're traveling like I am, that's not great. Right. But, you know, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'll have my wine and stuff, but I know I'm so aware of my body that I know when to
know your limits
and check and balance, because the bottom line is I love doing what I do so much that that's more important than anything in life. So if I have to make adjustments, I'll make adjustments so that I can do what makes me happy and that I love doing.
Do you have a favorite section in this book? Like, is there some part that just really touches you more than others?
No, nobody asked me that question before. You know, it's my life. I'm just grateful that it came out so good. It was not an easy thing to do. It was 4 years of hard work, and I almost bought the book back and buried it because I didn't like the way it was coming out. Wow. It didn't sound like me, so no disrespect to the editor or the original co-writer, but I had to get my hand on every page and rewrite and make sure that stuff sounded like me. And it took a lot of effort. Just like anything that you want to be great in life, you have to do it yourself. You get people to help you with certain things, but ultimately, if you want to be the way you feel and think and sound and your vibe, you have to get your hands on it. You have to be involved. Yeah. You know, there's no shortcuts in life. Laziness and entitlement is a waste of time and a waste of society. Yeah. You've got to take action. You're letting yourself down and everybody else around you if you don't.
It's very inspirational, man. And as a drummer, like I said, I want to sound like you, dude. So I watch you, I study you, I listen to you, you know?
You should try by sounding like me. You're going to end up sounding like you. Yeah. That's like me. I hear John Bonham when I'm playing certain things, or Phil Rudd, or Mitch Mitchell, or Ginger Baker, or Steve Gadd at times. But I don't sound like them, but they help me find my own voice too by just trying.
Yeah. That's what I do. It's just like I want to play like you, dude. Yeah. You know, I've always told people that too.
You look like me. That's a good start.
Well, I got the look down, so I guess you know that is a good start. But everything else, you know, like I said, you got to practice, take care of yourself, and do all the things that you're supposed to be doing. But it's
one of the 7 steps I talk about is RPS, which is the repetition of anything is the preparation for success. Repetition, preparation, success. It really is true. You know, I mean, if you want to be good at even raising a family, you have to repeat certain skills to make sure that the family's raised properly. Discipline, feed the kids right, make sure they do their homework. I'm using that as an example because that's so far removed from drumming. It's just, but it's a skill that's a technique that's applicable to anything in life. Repetition of anything, a golf swing, a tennis swing, pitching, anything, lifting weights, get muscles, practicing the drums. You want to be able to play fast like this? You got to do this so many hours a day so I can do that.
Then you do have a regular practice every single day.
I have a routine I can do. I did last night before I went to bed, and after traveling, I finally just laid back. But I was practicing because I got to keep my chops up for tomorrow. I play with the Buddy Rich Big Band.
Wow.
And I got to do it 3 times a day. This 30-minute routine I do.
Now, are you able to use that on planes and things like that? You said you're traveling around?
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
If I sit down right here.
All right, here we go.
So if I go, I do these 13 hand exercises, I do it. 2, my foot is tapping. 3, 4, 5, I'll just go to 5. When I get to 13, I start the other foot. Heel down, 2, 3. When I get to 5, I then do both feet, double bass drum. 2. I go all the way through the 13, then I do the whole thing again with my heel up. Everything I do here is exercising certain techniques that I use when I play. So there's not one wasted note. When I get through this, then I do the same 13 patterns, but I do a single stroke roll after it. 1, 2, left-handed roll now. So I got this whole routine I do for 30 minutes. Those skills, those specific skills are what I use when I play the drums. I call it functional practicing. Practice what will make you sound great today. Then when you get that taken care of, practice stuff that you just love doing for the future. Take care of business today.
Do your reps first and take care of that, and Well, I think I'm going to be watching this thing over and over again, just exactly what you just did. And, next time I see you, I have to compare notes on how my drumming's coming along.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, it works. I have a whole double bass drum routine when I go. I practice exactly what I'm going to use on stage. So that when I'm on stage, sometimes things take a year to finally get to the point where you can integrate it into your playing. But that's life, man. Great things don't come fast.
Wow. We had talked about this briefly when I talked to you in Vegas. Now, when your kit's set up, you're currently playing with John Fogerty, and you have the small rack tom on to the right of the larger rack tom. Very few people use that configuration. I see that every now and then. How did that come about?
That was 1983. I had, well, actually earlier than that, 1982. When I got with the John Mellencamp band, I had a big drum set. He wanted only the one rack tom on one floor. He was very much involved with the visual of the band. So, but I had recorded this song called Jack and Diane in 1982. It became a #1 hit single and made me famous. It's a big drum break, had 4 toms. When we went out live, I snuck another floor tom back there so John couldn't see it. So it looked like I had 1 floor tom. But it was 1618, I didn't have an endorsement. The 18 didn't even have a bottom head on it. It didn't even have hardware. Bottom line is the engineer said, your toms sound so low, and do you have any higher toms so they can cut through these arenas? Because we were opening up for bands like the Heart and the Kinks.
Was that Don Gehman? Was that the guy?
Don Gehman. Don was the guy that said it. I went, well, I do have a smaller tom, but John doesn't want it up there. So I went, hey, you know what? Tell John that his vocals will sound better if that tom's up there. I don't know what he said, but John said okay. And I had a 12-inch tom on a snare stand, and I put the 10-inch there because I thought that, the most important drums were the snare, rack tom, floor tom. So I put the 10-inch over there on a snare stand. They were that far apart because they were on snare stands. And that became my thing, and I kind of liked it because then I started realizing I go do, or it just created a different vibe and different fills, and so I left it that way.
Cool. Well, it's like I said, it's kind of a signature thing when I see you play, and not a lot of people do that. Tell us a little bit about what 2017 is going to be.
I basically have 5 bands. I play with John Fogerty, I play with the Bodines, I play with Supersonic Blues Machine, which features guitar players like Billy Gibbons, Steve Lukather, Robin Ford, Eric Gales, Walter Trout. And I'm going to be playing with them in Mumbai. It'll be Billy Gibbons and Eric Gales there. But we're going to do more touring. There's a band called Heaven and Earth that I recorded a record with that we may be doing some touring.
Yes,
and then
yes.
I've got Kenny and Friends, which is something I do with James. I'll be at the Baked Potato March 25th. It's just me. I feature 5 different artists. I'm the MD. I'll be in Vegas with Fogerty 2 different times. I have a speaking business. I have an inspirational show that's a movie with pictures, and I perform, I lecture, and I'll talk about how to become 7 ways I believe people can become successful and stay successful in business and in their life, no matter what they do. And it's not just about music at all. The music is the entertainment part. This is life skills to be great at anything, whether you're a housewife, or you're an athlete, a musician, or you're a gardener, or you work for Microsoft. This is about being successful and, more importantly, staying successful. And I believe that this is what, these 7 things are what made me become successful and how I've stayed successful in one of the most difficult businesses in the world, the music business. So I'm launching my speaking page, which is basically an electronic press kit, and I'll be doing a lot of this for corporations. I got asked to do one in Spain for a really big event with really brilliant people that are involved with trying to spread positive energy in humanity around the world. These are everything from TED Talks people to speakers to authors to businessmen that are billionaire businessmen. So I'm honored to be part of that. And so that's what's going on also.
Now, where can people find out more information about that? What website?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
I will be posting that on all social media once my webpage site is launched. It's that page is going to have my whole speaking thing, everything about my speaking business. It'll be my recording business and my touring business. It'll have my whole life will be there with videos and pictures and.
Right. Now, which current Kenny Aronoff place where they can find? Is it KennyAronoff.com or is it
www.kennyaronoff.com? And I think that new website, I can't remember what it'll be called, but just go to www.kennyaronoff.com, and that they'll all be interactive with each other.
Facebook and Twitter and all those things as well?
Yep. So. You'll see it all. Yep. And I play tomorrow night with the Buddy Rich Big Band.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Got to be a dream for you. Everybody loves Buddy, dude.
Shit, yeah. And I was scared. That was the scariest session I ever did in my life. But now I feel like I own that piece I recorded, Straight No Chaser. It's blazing fast. Right. It's pretty honor.
And you don't have Buddy yelling at you.
Oh, yeah. I'll hear him in my head. And
did you ever get to hang out with Buddy?
I saw him play once at the Bottom Line.
Me too.
And that was it. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then I go to Connecticut to do a thing with David Pack from Ambrosia. In New York and do the Seth Meyers show for a week.
Wow.
Yeah, as a guest drummer.
Wow.
Sirius Radio, I'll be doing interviews for them. Then I come back home I teach also at MI. I decided
Musicians Institute.
8 days of teaching at MI. I haven't taught for a long time at a school. It's pretty cool, man. I mean, it's really good. It takes up a lot of time. I have sessions in my studio, Uncommon Studios, LA, which you can go to the website www.uncommonstudiosla.com, and then I go to the Vegas on February 8th. The Bodines, February 9th. I fly to Mumbai. I play with Billy Gibbons, Eric Gales on the 12th. Then the 13th, I fly to San Antonio and play with Fogerty, and then 2 other gigs, one in Long Island and then one at Foxwoods with Fogerty. I come back, and then I think it's more sessions, filming some stuff with videos for Heaven and Earth. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on.
And they wonder why I'm a fan of yours, man. I'm in awe of like all this stuff that you got going on. You're just like the busiest guy I think I've ever met.
I wake up in the middle of the night and do work. I do.
Well, Kenny, I can't thank you enough for talking with us here at VintageRock.com. Much success with the book. Once again, it's called Sex, Drums, and Rock and Roll. and it's in fine booksellers or Amazon or wherever you want. You can even practice Kenny's thing that he showed you on the book itself, in between. So again, as a fan and as everything else, man, I really appreciate talking with us.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, Junkman from VintageRock.com and the great Kenny Aronoff.